Okay, so right now, this dough has rested for about 2 hours. Minimum 2 hours to refrigerate. I said 30 minutes before, but minimum 2 hours or overnight, at least 24 hours before you start rolling it out to shape. So right now I'm going to shape my dough. I'm only going to do half of this because I'm going to save the other half for my demo later, just to show you how to shape to roll them up. So half of them will be ready by the time class starts. Okay, so I'm going to just knock out some of this air. There's a little few bubbles, but that's okay. Right, you could flour it, but not heavily flour it. But you could flour it enough. Okay. All right. Wish I had do I have a bigger rolling pin? Let's see. Okay. This rolling pin's a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it out to the height I want. I have a little template right here that I usually use, but you can just do triangles. I'll show you guys how to roll that out. I had to turn my cutting board sideways just so it's a little bit longer, but it still won't be long enough for this dough. But that's why I washed this side of my countertop and then the front part of my cabinets, because I'm going to let this dough hang out off the side. See how it's kind of hanging off? Well, you could see, I don't want to show you my feet, but see how it's hanging off the side? I'm going to let gravity do its thing. So I could just roll this outward. Actually, from here, I'll just cut this in half. So I'll save half of this for later. I'll stick this back on my sheet pan. That looks, I'll work with, it's not even, so I'll work with the smaller one now, and then I'll save this one for 5:30. Okay, so that's hanging out in there. If I cut it, see, well, I don't know if you could see the layers of the fat and dough. It's a little bit stressed out, but we will make do. I just gotta work. Ooh, too much flour. I'll just brush it off. Just gotta work fast, so you don't want to warm up that butter, but you want to shape it. Yeah, you just don't want it to get too warm, or the butter will start coming out. Okay, it's kind of retracting. If you let it sit for 24 hours, it will be a little bit better. Okay, that one's a good length. I mean, a height. So that means when I turn this and I make it long, it'll retract to the size I want. What was I saying? If you let it rest for 24 hours, it'll roll out nicer. Okay. So you kind of want 1/8 of an inch thickness. Okay, I think this is good. This is as good as it's gonna get, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it this way. And then you kind of fluff up your dough so it kind of naturally retracts. But my ends are a little chubby, so I'm just going to roll it out so I get a little bit more croissant. A little more bang for my buck. Okay, I think this is good. This is as good as it's gonna get. I know you can't really see it. Let's turn it this way. Okay. All right, so I have my, where did I put my cutters? I'll be right back. If you have a roller cutter or a pizza wheel, now is the time to use it. I'm gonna trim off the edge just so you could expose the layers, because all this edge is a little bit of too much dough. A little bit too much dough. So if you have this and you make a croissant, that part will not have, it'll not puff up. So I'm just gonna do all the edges. You can get these at the 99-cent store if you want. I got mine at the Asian market, just because I don't have my tools. Okay, now if you want, you could use a template like this, but see, there's some waste. What I like to do is cut these, in some rectangles. And then cut the rectangle in half, like so. Okay. These won't be too perfect, but they will do. I'm going to save these for a couple of chocolate croissants. I'll do 2 chocolate croissants. Oh, sorry. Chocolate croissants or ham and cheese croissants. But I have some ham and cheese. I'll just do chocolate in these. And when I do my demo later, I'll show you the ham and cheese ones. Okay, so you want to stack these on top of each other to keep them insulated. This stuff you could sugar them, cinnamon and sugar them, and make monkey bread. Okay, first things first, you're gonna extend the ends and pull this way, and you're gonna roll it towards you. You want to just hold the ends. Oh, this is a really thick one. Hold the ends, and there you go. You could curl it if you want, but I like mine straight. I have a parchment paper lined sheet pan right here. I'm gonna just put them on. Same thing, you want to just stretch the ends. Make sure there's not too much flour on it. If you feel flour on it, just brush it away. It won't, if there's too much flour, it'll separate in the oven, and you're not going to have a good croissant. You're going to have something that separates. Okay, it's kind of warm in my apartment, actually. I can feel the butter kind of oozing out. These are a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm just going to extend it and then pull it slightly, and then roll it towards you. Okay. I'm not putting any pressure. You want this inside still kind of loose. If you make a really tight roll, it's not going to be able to expand. Okay. Okay, you want at least 7 steps. So 2, 4, 6, 7. It should have about 7 steps on there. For chocolate ones, these are a little bit long for chocolate, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I have some chocolate. You could use chocolate chips. I have these chocolate discs. You're going to roll this up this way, and I'm going to add some here. I'm going to cut a little bit of this end off because it's too big. It's supposed to be about 4 by 6 inches. Okay, just roll that up. Okay. I usually should just do the ugly side inward. Could roll it up. Okay, and you want to make sure this seam is in the middle of your dough. If it's on the side, when you put it on the sheet pan, it could roll outward, or if it's this way, it'll roll up. So you want it to kind of be semi-centered. Okay, so I'm just gonna bake those separately. All right, so I have my sheet pan here. I'm gonna lay my croissants. If you do the fancy croissants, these are fat. My first one is fat, but that is okay. So I'll lay these diagonal so they could stretch or proof this way, and then I'm gonna put my chocolate croissants here. You want to egg wash them. I'm gonna egg wash them twice. You're gonna egg wash them now. Okay. When you're egg washing croissants, you always want to go to the direction of the croissant. You don't want to do it this way. You want to do it this way. Okay. Make sure it doesn't drip to the bottom. But right now you could be kind of liberal. Go make sure you get all the sides. But when it proofs, we're gonna egg wash them right before we put them in the oven. That's when we have to be gentle when we put the egg wash the second time. Okay, so after this point, I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap. If you have a big bag, you could stick this like in a garbage bag, a clean garbage bag, and let them double. It'll take room temperature about 2 hours. You don't want to rush this because there's butter, and if it's too hot, what's gonna happen is the butter's gonna leak. I've done that. I rushed it, and my croissants come out flat. So if it's warm today, so just leave it out for a couple of hours, and they'll be okay. So what I'm gonna do with the plastic wrap, I'm gonna lay it out here first. Okay, I'm gonna lay it out, and then I'm gonna spray my plastic wrap. If you want to stick it in your oven, if your oven's kind of warm but not super hot, you could keep it in there for 2 hours. But I'm gonna keep mine half out, half in my oven. But I'm gonna spray this plastic wrap with pan spray. And I'm going to put this over my croissants. Okay, see that? Because now if I pull it up, it's not going to get stuck to my egg wash. I've learned the hard way. Okay, so this is going to hang out for 2 hours. All right, see you in a couple hours.